March 23rd, Saturday, 5th week of Lent, John 11:45 to 56. Here we are at the end of Lent. Tomorrow is Palm Sunday, the day when the church remembers Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, where he is hailed by the masses as their champion and king. The day is also called Passion Sunday, and the story of Jesus' betrayal, arrest, trials, torture, and execution is also remembered. So it is a day that is filled with the contradictions and irony, a day when the fickleness of human sentiment is on full display. Today, some of the Jews excitedly approach the Pharisees and tell them that Jesus had raised a man, Lazarus, from the dead. Rather than being amazed at this news, it appears that this news was the last straw for the Pharisees. They had had enough of Jesus. They needed to do something about this man, Jesus, who was creating havoc in their lives. The chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin. These religious officials were extremely concerned about Jesus and his growing influence with the people. They were angry but also fearful. The Sanhedrin realized that they were losing some of their power with the people. They could not go on. Jesus not only was a threat to their power and control, but they also were worried that the Romans might come and take their land and be in control of their nation. In the course of the meeting of the Sanhedrin, Caiaphas, who was the high priest, voiced what many of them were thinking. Jesus had to die. There was no alternative. He was too much of a threat to their power. Caiaphas justified this course of action by saying that it was better for one man to die rather than have the nation torn apart. Thus, the stage was set. The decision had been made. They began to plan how to kill Jesus. Jesus was aware that the Pharisees were plotting against him, and he stayed in the shadows of Jerusalem until he decided to go to Ephraim with his disciples. He stayed there until it was time for the Passover. Many of the people who traveled to Jerusalem for the Passover feast looked for Jesus. They had heard about him and they wanted to see him for themselves. They also hoped they would hear him preach. However, Jesus was nowhere to be seen. Dear friends, in the days ahead, we have a choice: to walk with Jesus through this week or to go on about our lives as if all is normal. Jesus gave his life for us. Will we take the time and walk with Jesus through this holiest of weeks? Or will we spend most of our time shopping or traveling to visit family and ignore the man who by his death gave us the promise of eternal life. Wishing you a good day, Father Paul, CSSR from Kerala.